Good morning. My name is Zena Tucker, and my pronouns are she and her. On behalf of this congregation, welcome. Young, old, noisy, quiet. We love every part of you, and we're happy to see you here. And we acknowledge we are on the traditional territories of Native tribes. Whether you have joined us online or you are here in our sanctuary, we're glad to have you with us in this sacred time we choose to be together. Our congregation is served by our minister, the Reverend Jaimie Simon, who is available for pastoral care or to answer questions about Unitarian Universalism. She may be reached at minister@uuch.org. If you are a newcomer, please sign the guest book in our foyer to receive our email newsletter. Please take a moment to silence your electronic devices. If you have a joy, sorrow, or important milestone to share, please, during the circle of candles later in the service, please fill out one of these white cards. They're in the pew rack in front of you, the hymnal rack in front of you. For community news and events, check our email newsletter and the paper insert in your order of service. So one announcement, the excitement is building for our rummage sale. Hooray, coming up soon, 23rd of August. There's information in the flyer that we have in the front and the back, or you, of course, can see me or Jerry Franklin. Thank you for helping with the yard sale. So we need all your help for the yard sale. Donations, work, come by, come shop. There's some market spaces out there if you know someone who has a small business that would like to have a very inexpensive market spot outside. Now I would like to invite Corey Papatathis to ring the singing bowl to help us enter into this service more deeply. This chalice lighting is adapted from Deborah Hafner. We light our chalice for all that is good in our lives. May we whisper, thank you for all that is good in our lives. May we shout thank you for the abundance of blessings. Thank you. May we feel thank you. Thank you, thank you. Deep in our hearts and around us right now. May we take the time to feed each other, take care of each other, appreciate, trust each other, and say, thank you. Finally, having gathered, okay, I read the chalice lighting, okay, so here we go. And now, to help center yourself and quiet your mind, we have our music for centering. I need to quiet my mind. We have music for centering, followed by call to worship.
Good morning, friends. I'm going to switch to the pulpit, Mike, because I don't know what's going on there. But that's okay. We have a fabulous tech team that fixes my problems when they happen. So let me try this again. Good morning, friends. My name is Reverend Jaimie Simon. My pronouns are she and her, and it is my joy to welcome you here to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Huntsville. Whoever you are, whatever you bring with you this morning, wherever you are in your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. I invite you to settle in this morning with these words from Reverend Eric Walker Wickstrom. We come together this morning because within us there is something that knows that we need more than we can find in our aloneness. We know instinctively in the depths of ourselves that we need others for our journey of life, even though we guard our independence and our individuality quite jealously. So let us celebrate all that makes us unique, yet also all that makes us one, connected to one another. And let us dream dreams of all that we can be. In that spirit, let us worship together this morning. I invite you now to rise in body or spirit for our first hymn. It's number 300 in that hardback gray silver hymnal. Singing the Living Tradition, number 300. Let's sing together. Body or spirit, because after we sing our first hymn, our tradition is that we sing our doxology and then speak to one another our words of aspiration. And that's that blue card in front of you. And when we get to the words of aspiration, we turn toward each other and toward that center aisle to speak these words as words of promise in community. Let's sing. May love be the spirit of this church. May the quest for truth be its sacrament, and service be its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, and to help one another in fellowship. This is our aspiration. Now you may be seated. And I'm wondering if we have any children or youth who might want to come up and hear a story. I know, very exciting. Thank you for being our first volunteer. Any children and our youth are welcome to come forward for our story for all ages. Thank you, Jessiah, for leading this piece.
Good morning. I have given you some pipe cleaners to make some flowers with today. So if you can make a flower, and then at the end of my story, we will put them all together to transform them into a beautiful bouquet. The key word here is transform. Our UU value this week in RE is transformation. Who can tell me what transformation is? Yeah, Lorelai. Transformation means to evolve. That's a big word. It's really good. Yeah.
Transformation means like when you put like all one together, then it makes it bigger.
Oh, so when you take a bunch of small things and you put them all together to make a bigger thing, like the Transformers. Yeah, that's a good one. So, our story today is called Harlem Grown. And it's a story about how a group of children transform an empty lot in Harlem into a beautiful garden. Harlem Grown, how one big idea transformed a neighborhood. Once in a big city called New York, in a bustling neighborhood called Harlem, there was an empty lot. You see, empty lot here. Nevaeh called it the Haunted Garden. It was cluttered and wrecked with couches and old TVs, broken bottles and empty cans. It's a creepy looking cat, right? Once in a big city, in a bustling neighborhood, there was Nevaeh's school. PS 175 it was called, and it sat across from the Haunted Garden. One day, a man came to PS 175. Mr. Tony, the kids called him. When Mr. Tony saw those kids and the haunted garden, he had an idea. He began to clear the haunted garden, one piece of trash at a time. Soon, it was a clean slate, a blank canvas. Mr. Tony laid down new, clean soil. He invited Nevaeh to help. Seeds and shovels. Nevaeh started to plant. She dug holes in the ground, and into the holes she placed her seedlings. And then she carefully covered them with dirt. Her friends came too. 400 seedlings went into the ground, one for each child. Basil, mint, cilantro, and rosemary. Then the kids watered and weeded, and their plants began to grow. Once Nevaeh came to the lot after school, her plant was wilted and sad. We'll try again, said Mr. Tony. We'll plant something different. Wood, hammer, nails. Mr. Tony built raised beds for the plants. The kids tried again. Peas and broccoli and mint and eggplants. They watered and weeded. At last, food. Tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, blueberries, collard green, kale, basil, and arugula. That all sounds delicious. Mr. Tony watched and helped and smiled. More kids came from the neighborhood. They tended their plants, which grew and grew. Up came more fruits and vegetables. The kids took their green beans and carrots and cucumbers home to their families for dinner. Once upon a time in a big city called New York, in a bustling neighborhood called Harlem, there was a man with an idea. There were kids who wanted to help, and they made a farm. And you know what? This is a true story about a man named Tony Hillary. He was the founder and director of Harlem Grown Garden. And there's a picture of him in front of the garden. So, what do you think that we can transform into? Yeah.
A flower and some plants.
Oh, so we can transform our pipe cleaners into flowers? Mm. Well, I think that we could take that to RE class and I can help you. So if you've made a flower, you can come and bring it and put it in my vase. And we've made a beautiful bouquet all by working together. Thank you. And let us now sing our children out.
We are the Unitarian Universalist Church of Huntsville, a proudly inclusive spiritual community. Together, we build a broader search for meaning, a bolder form of compassion, and a braver voice for justice. At this time, we invite you to support our mission with a monetary contribution. You may donate online using the QR code on the back of your order of service, or you may put cash or check donations in the offering baskets. Completed Circle of Candles cards should also be placed in the offering baskets. You're invited to come forward during this time and quietly drop a stone into the bowl of water here next to the ramp in honor or memory of something that you hold in your heart. With gratitude, we now receive the offering.
Friends, will you join me for a time of meditation, reflection, and prayer? Great Spirit of love and life, be with us in this time as we are with one another, as we hold with gentleness and care the joys and sorrows of our community and the prayers we hold for this world. Our joys and sorrows are silent on our hearts this day. If there is someone who you want to send a little extra love to, I invite you to speak their name into this room. We hold these names, these people and places who need our love most, and send it their way. And we pray for our world. This morning, I'm sending care and compassion to the people of Gaza who continue to live under bombardment and starvation conditions. May those with power stop this. May we move toward peace and love and reconciliation. Pray for the government workers who serve in our community, those who are in a tenuous and uncertain situation with their jobs as our administration continues to make bad choices. And for those who experienced mass shootings and other forms of violence this week, we pray. In all these places, places of hurt and places of celebration, may we send our care and love this morning. And let us take a few breaths of silence to hold it all. Amen. Blessed be. And let's sing in response number 1009 in that blue hymnal, Meditation on Breathing. Reading this morning is a poem called Calling by Nancy Schaefer. When you heard that voice and knew finally it called for you and what it was saying, where were you? Were you in the shower, wet and soapy, or chopping cabbage late for dinner? Were you planting radish seeds or seeking one lost sock? Maybe wiping handprints off a window, or coaxing words into a sentence, or coming upon a hyacinth, or speaking the word no. Where were you when you heard that ancient voice, and did yes get born right then? And did you weep? Had it called you since before you even were? And when you knew that, did your joy escape all holding? Where were you when you heard that calling voice, and how in that moment did you mark it? How ever after are you changed? Tell us, please, all you can about that voice. Tell us how to listen, how to hear. Teach us all that you can of saying yes. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Susan, Mrs. Ron Guthrie, and I'd like to introduce the Shoe Bop Girls, Larson and Simons, and one of our greatest treasures, Howard Williams.
You don't know what you've got till it's gone. They paved paradise, put up a parking lot. They paved paradise, put up a parking lot. They paved paradise, put up a parking lot. Yes!
We have fun here, don't we? Yesterday, here at UUCH, something pretty spectacular happened. We gathered leaders from all over our church community, our board members, our committee chairs, and a couple of stragglers who fit in somewhere, and we had a day of learning and listening and community building. Our board got together to get clarity and inspiration about their work for the year ahead. They set goals and created a group covenant, and specifically they set their sights on, as the UUA is calling us, to meeting the moment we find ourselves in. Aware of the complex and heartbreaking political world we live in, their goal is to determine how we as a community can best be a sanctuary to those who need our safety and our resources, and how to maximize the impact of our resistance efforts. Aware of how being in this resistance attracts new people to our community, they are committed to improving our welcome and our practices of inclusion for all those who are seeking us out in this moment. Aware of the stress and struggle of this time, they're committed to centering joy and friendship in this congregation. And aware of how our building and community spaces are powerful resources, they've set their sights on making sure we're getting the best use of all this space that we do have. And similarly, our committee leaders did their own visioning work. They got a refresher course on everyone's favorite topic, I think, how to lead a fantastic meeting, how to build effective teams, and how to create meaningful opportunities for everyone in the community to plug in and find their place of service. And they shared their dreams for what service here at UUCH could feel like in the year ahead. They're dreaming that service here in our community will feel fun and connecting, that those who serve will feel empowered, like they have ownership in this community and that they can really make a difference. They're dreaming of volunteer life balance that allows us to thrive as human beings and as families while also supporting a larger community. And they're dreaming of healthy, consistent systems of leadership where people can serve for a time and then stop and rest, and new people switch in without any worry or guilt or disruption. And all of us thought about our place in the larger UUCH ecosystem, how we can build joy and sustainability in all we do. We remembered that none of us can do it all by ourselves. None of us can go on this journey of service and community building alone. None of us are responsible for everything, but all of us are responsible to each other and for the few things we can do. As we closed our circle yesterday, I was struck by the hope and possibility that was present there. This congregation can and will be a sanctuary of resistance to fascism and oppression, and we will share this work together. And today we hear Joni Mitchell's words in Big Yellow Taxi calling out the senselessness of destroying the beauty of the natural world we have been given in favor for that which capitalism and imperialism tells us that we should want. She sings, "They paved paradise to put up a parking lot." Can we imagine the shame of it? We see it happening over and over in our world, choosing the parking lot instead of the natural paradise. And we wonder, are we so unaware? Are we so tired and overwhelmed and under-resourced and under-rested that we too would make these kinds of short-sighted trades? Perhaps we would. But maybe if we can find it in ourselves to understand our place in the larger system, the larger ecosystem, and how that system relies on each of us to do our part, well, we just might have a better chance of only taking the trade-offs that serve our community well. There's an author and a justice advocate that I'm finding a lot of hope and inspiration from right now that I'd like to share with you. Her name is Deepa Iyer, and she writes this year's Unitarian Universalist Association Common Read. It's a book called Social Change Now, a guide for reflection and connection. I encourage you to check it out. It's a practical guide for those at every stage of their individual and organizational journeys towards justice, equity, and solidarity. And it introduces this idea that we are in an ecosystem framework that includes different roles that we can play in service of social change and making the world more closely aligned with our values. I got to hear Iyer speak a few weeks ago when I was in Baltimore for General Assembly, and she presented her work, which was this fabulous opportunity to dig deep and learn from her wisdom. But I think the best way to get your feet wet in learning about her ecosystem is to look at this helpful graphic I have given you. So when you came in this morning, your order of service, the front of your order of service has a picture of our ecosystem, our social change ecosystem. At the center, we have the world we wish to be a part of, the guiding values of our ecosystem: equity, liberation, justice, and solidarity. And the spokes of the wheel are 10 different roles that we might play in living out these values. I invite you to pay attention as we walk through these different roles. Imagine which roles you have played or which roles you might play in the future. So I'm going to start at the top, right? So at the top we have our weavers. Weavers see the through lines of connectivity between people and places and organizations and ideas and movements. As weavers, we can develop our patience, curiosity, and compassion to find the through lines that cut through conflict and disagreement. Next to weavers, we have our experimenters. Experimenters innovate, pioneer, and invent, taking risks and course correcting as needed. As experimenters, we can identify different formations for our organizations and networks that can withstand attacks and targeting. Frontline responders, next, address community crises by marshaling and organizing resources, networks, and messages. Frontline responders figure out how our institutions might become sanctuaries, might offer mutual aid collectives, libraries, and spaces of community safety. Visionaries imagine and generate our boldest possibilities, hopes, and dreams, and they remind others of the direction we're moving in together. As visionaries, we find new and accessible language and ideas that inspire those who might not be with us yet to join in. And all the while, we need caregivers. Caregivers nurture and nourish the people around us, creating and sustaining a community of joy, connection, and care. Caregivers check in on people who are more vulnerable, provide support to nurture their bodies and spirits. Disruptors take uncomfortable and risky actions to shake up the status quo, to raise awareness and to build power. Disruptors sharpen our direct action strategies, techniques, and trainings. Healers recognize and tend to the generational and current traumas caused by oppressive systems, institutions, policies, and practices. And healers curate spaces of support for those who are scared and overwhelmed. And finally, the last two roles are our storytellers and our guides. Storytellers craft and share community stories, culture, experience, history, and possibility through art and music, movement, and media. Storytellers hone our skills to document the impact of policies through surveys and interviews, reports, podcasts, and community journalism. And then our guides teach, counsel, and advise using the gifts of well-earned discernment and wisdom. Guides offer wisdom and mentorship to those who are newly activated, providing recommendations that are suited to their capacity and interest. This is our ecosystem, our social change ecosystem, and now that we understand this framework just a little better, I invite you to look inward. Was there a role that you heard or saw that inspired you or sparked your interest? Was there a role that felt like an immediate no, absolutely not, that is not me? That's okay too, it's good to know where you fall. If you're willing to be brave, would you speak aloud a role that you feel called to in this moment? Weaver, storyteller, experimenter, caregiver, supporter. Ooh, you added a new one. I like that, Andrea. Great. Visionaries, frontline responders. Disruptor. Love to hear it. Dear ones, whichever role speaks to you, I invite you to explore it more deeply. And I ask you, have you ever found yourself in one of these roles and it wasn't a good fit for you? Have you ever been the overwhelmed caregiver, the wounded healer, careening closer and closer to burnout? Have you been the only visionary in a room so full of first-line responders that no one has time amongst the crisis for all your good and thought-out ideas? Or have you sensed the frustration in a room of only weavers where there were no stories or experiments for them to weave? You see, Deepa Iyer calls this social change an ecosystem for a reason. It's like our ecosystems in the natural world. It's like the flowers our children transformed for us this morning. It's fragile and deeply dependent on every plant and creature, an activist and leader doing their part. We know what happens to the balance of things when you take the trees and put them in the tree museum, when the poison kills off the birds and the bees, when one player in the system is gone and it feels like the rest falls apart. So too, in our activism and our community building, we have to treat our closeness to each other as the fragile, interdependent thing that it is. And if we're able to do that, then there's no limit on who we can become. So beloveds, Joni Mitchell asks the question once more, don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? Well, maybe she's right, and maybe it seems that way. Maybe in this world where what we thought was permanent, our rights, our choices, our democracy, is no longer something we can take for granted. But friends, here and now in this room, we do know what we've got. We've got dreams for a better future, more aligned with our values and richer in connection and courage. We've got dreams of being open to new people and new experiences and new ways of doing things, and dreams of feeling more joy and possibility as we go about it. And we've got our personal callings, whether we've heard it beckoning us for years now, or if it's just a hum or a whisper far off inviting us to look deeper and live more truly. Whatever our call, it is ours to hold and fill and learn to live in. And most of all, we have each other. All those who would join us if we would just reach out our hands. Beloveds, we know what we've got. We've got goals and dreams, callings and connections, and we've got our one role to play in this ecosystem of liberation. Let us be each other's ecosystem. Let us center our lives in equity, liberation, justice, and solidarity. And in doing so, might we just turn the world around. May it be so. Our closing hymn this morning is number 1074, Turn the World Around. It's in that teal hymnal once again. And I invite you to turn to it while I tell you a story about it, right? So this song has a beautiful message connected to how nature turns the world around and how we do with our kindness and our love for each other. It was written by composer and civil rights activist Harry Belafonte when he was visiting a community in the country called Guinea. He was inspired by a traditional storyteller, and as part of writing the song, he included a word in the choruses that he'd heard as a child and thought was just kind of a pretty nonsense word. And then years later, he was taught that that word is not a pretty nonsense word, and is actually kind of a slur that has a really negative impact on the LGBTQ community. And once he learned that, he said, oh no, I'm so sorry, don't sing that word anymore. Right? When we know better, we can do better. So I have an invitation for you, and I'm very serious about it. Everywhere you see the word abatiwa, that's the word that we're not going to sing anymore, I want you to cross it out with a pencil in front of you. I'm very serious. You have permission to write in the hymnal today. Cross that word out, and we're just going to sing Oz. And it's going to make sense because we sing Oz in that spot in the tune in other places. So it's going to kind of feel normal. And fortunately, you have the three of us fabulous shoebop girls plus Joni Mitchell to lead you in it. So it's going to be a great time. In the spirit of turning the world around, finding our calling, and living in balance in this ecosystem of community, will you rise, embody your spirit? Number 1074, Turn the World Around.
We come from the fire, living in the fire. Go back to the fire, turn the world around. We come from the water, living in the water. Go back to the water, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living on the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. Whoa, so is life. Ah, so is life. Oh, so is life. Ah, so is life. Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Do you know? Do you know who I am? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Do we know who I am? Do you know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Oh, so is life. Oh, so is life. Oh, so is life. Oh, so is life. Water make the river, river wash the mountain, fire make the sunlight, turn the world around. Heart is of the river, body is the mountain, spirit is the sunlight, turn the world around. We are of the spirit, truly of the spirit, only can the spirit turn the world around. Oh, so is life. Ah, so is life. Oh, so is life. Ah, so is life. Oh, so is life. Ah, so is life. Oh, so is life. Ah, so is life.
Now let us take a moment to extinguish our chalice with these words by Gordon McKeeman. The worship of the gathered community is now ended. Go in peace. Go in joy. Go in love to share in the ongoing worship of the community in dispersion. Carry with you what is precious to us all: reverence for all life, beauty that displays itself in love, and deep, abiding peace.
Friends, our worship service now comes to a close. Thank you for joining us today. I'll be at the back of the sanctuary to greet you, and everyone is invited to join us for coffee and conversation here in Fellowship Hall. I'll close with these words. Go out inspired to find your role in this ecosystem, inspired to turn the world around towards justice, equity, liberation, and solidarity. May we go out and live our lives this way. Amen, blessed be, and let's go out singing our rite of community. 1039, Be Thou With Us.